Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at something I've never actually looked at on the channel before, and that is a dongle. And this was offered over to me for review by Aplomb. I believe that's the correct way to pronounce that. And since I have a MacBook Pro as my personal laptop, this is actually a perfect little dongle for me to check out because it features USB Type-C. So previously for my job, I actually did purchase a dock at one point because I had a work laptop that I was taking to and from work, and I wanted the desktop experience while I was actually at work. So I'd actually got one of these Kensington docks, and this thing actually has a ton of I/O. It has a couple of USB 3 ports on the front, has a microphone, headphone. On the back, it has a couple of video outputs. It has more USB, and it also has a wired Ethernet port. But there are some inherent problems with these docks. One being it requires power that's external. Another problem being that not only does this require external power, but then so too does the laptop because it's just a USB 3.0 interface, which is where these little dongles come in. Not only that, this thing's about $100. This one is $30. Now, physically, the color of this particular dongle actually almost perfectly matches a MacBook Pro Space Gray. So in case that's the laptop that you actually have, the color match is almost perfect. It is slightly off. If you're just walking by it though, you won't really notice the color difference. The two things that I really love about this dongle over other dongles though, is that it has this HDMI 4K output. Now it is only 30 Hertz if you're running it at 4K, so I do recommend running it at more like 1080p or 1440p. And the other thing about this dongle that I just love is that it actually addresses my problem of external power in both ways. First of all, this dongle is powered completely through the USB-C port that attaches into presumably your laptop, though you can absolutely use this with a desktop environment. But the other thing is it has a USB Type-C pass-through power port, so you can actually plug your computer's USB Type-C charger into this thing, in my case a MacBook Pro, and it passes through the power through this one plugin. So you can have a full desktop setup here with just one Type-C cable. So you can power your laptop, you can run video from your laptop to your monitor, you can run a keyboard, a mouse, and you still have one USB 3.0 port that you can use for something else, like maybe a flash drive, external hard drive, whatever the case may be. Now I will say, when I tested out data transfer speeds with an external SSD, this was slower than a typical USB 3.0 port. Though if I'm buying this particular dongle, I'm a little bit less concerned about the data transfer speed and more concerned about what it allows me to do, and that is mostly in regard to setting up a monitor, keyboard, and mouse with a laptop and having a one-plug solution. If I was using this on a permanent basis, what I would simply do is buy another power brick for my MacBook Pro and have one that is purely stationary and then one that would be for taking on the go, so that I could have that just simple one plug into the laptop and I would be up and running. And I will say that the monitor latency seemed fine, especially if you're using it for professional type things. You're doing Word documents, Excel documents, just browsing the internet. All that seemed perfectly fine on this particular dongle. And one last note, I wouldn't really recommend using a dongle like this for gaming purposes off of a laptop. I suppose you could do it, though I am gonna go ahead and take a stab at the added latency would likely not be pleasant to the gamer, though I didn't test that theory out because I am working with a MacBook Pro with integrated graphics. None of the games that I have in my Steam library are the types of games that I could really get into a fast-paced type of deal where I could really test out if the latency was problematic. Not something I would recommend, but if you are seriously thinking about it, I would definitely check out other reviews to see if other people have done something similar with it. So that is my review of this Aplomb USB Type-C hub. If you're looking for a docking scenario for a modern laptop that uses Type-C interface, especially if you're using Type-C charging, this thing is awesome because of that pass-through power and also because of the video output. It can replace something much larger like this $100 docking solution. And you can always add more to it because there is still that free USB 3.0 port. You could always daisy chain some hubs together. It's not something that I really recommend, but if you needed maybe a couple more USB ports, you could just do that and then leave it as a stationary solution. It's definitely something I would recommend. I will leave a link down below, but I always like to kick it back to you guys. Do you use some sort of docking scenario, whether it be an enterprise type dock with some of those like old Dell Latitudes? Do you use something like one of these Kensington docks, or have you switched over to something like a USB Type-C dongle that just supports video out? Let me know down below. And as always, guys, if you like this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware. And as always, I'll let YouTube queue up a couple more videos from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.